Alright, so I'm quickly gonna make a video on these two clones that I got recently. This one really raised my expectations because there was nothing wrong with it. The washers were great. They were on the pivot, fit perfectly, other than them being a little thinner, like not as wide. If you ever taken an 8010 apart and you've ever seen their washers, you've seen how wide they are compared to how this one was. This one had really thin, or not as wide ones, but other than that, this thing was awesome. It was able to shave my arm as soon as I got it. It was crazy. Other than the centering of the blade, which I really don't care for, because once you open it, it looks pretty straight. Like, you're not gonna notice that it's off center. I think it might be bent, I don't know. It doesn't affect the way it works though. This one's really good, and it's able to drop shut now pretty much. So I ordered another one of these to see if different vendors mean different quality control, to see if it had the type of washers this one had. But when I got this one, I was excited because I wanted it to be like this one, and it wasn't at all. You see how the right side of the washer looks higher than the left one? It's because the washer has a bigger center hole than the pivot. The pivot's a lot thinner, so it's just kind of swirling in there. Sadly, this thing is garbage. I ruined the edge too when I first got it. First, it wouldn't even shave my arm, and that was even after sharpening it. So it was really disappointing to me. But whenever I brought it out here and I started cutting branches down, it really was cutting like right through. I think it's just because of the weight. But this one's nothing more than a beater knife. Like, if you want to cut down branches with this thing instead of a machete for whatever reason, go for it. This thing could work. But this is definitely the one to go for. I don't know, just this one has better quality behind it. But yeah, this thing was awesome. Great deal, great find. Lucky enough to have one for 20 bucks. You can't complain about it. And then this is what I'm carrying now again. As much as I love this one's always gonna be better. I can always depend on this one on the lock, don't have to worry about it. And then here's my little Rhino. This is how it ended up. The scales were more orange at one point, and now it's turning back to the yellow whenever I first dyed it. And that's because I barely put a little bit of red dye towards the end. Whenever the water was, I guess, cooling off, so it didn't penetrate as much. So it looks kind of burnt, which, I mean, I'm digging it. But the pocket clip, I had to get rid of because in my pocket, after pulling it out, sometimes you'd see it popping up. Like, it wasn't touching the scale anymore. So I was worried about losing it one day because my drop bear that happened to, the clip, it broke completely. It didn't fall off. I mean, I didn't lose it, but the knife fell out of my pocket. So I never want to have that fear again and let that happen. So this one's just gonna sit at the bottom of my pocket now with the lanyard. I mean, it works better anyways to open it. Now that it doesn't have the pocket clip, I have to see, because I used to use my hands to hook onto it, but now I have to use the lanyard. It works out in the end. But yeah, here's the little acid job I ended up doing on it. I love this little thing. It needs a sharpening, but it's a pretty good little replacement for the baby Banter, because I don't like liner locks as much. Frame locks I don't mind, but I don't want liner locks. So this one's pretty good for what it is. I did have to use red Loctite on the pivot because it would keep loosening after opening it a couple times. So using a little bit of red Loctite now. There's no blade play at any point. It's been like this for 2 weeks now. So yeah, I mean, you can see a little bit of damage. I dropped it earlier, sadly. Sorry about that. But this is a good little knife. I love it. And then 8010, always gonna be the beast that it is a knife. And then the clones. This one's worth it, this one's not. At least if the other one comes the same way as this one, then I'll be behind it 100%. But this one's a good one for 20 bucks. This one is an upgraded gas station knife. This one I would say is like, I don't know, it's a step above that. It's low grade, but it's better than this. But yeah, I mean, it's a good steal. 20 bucks. Not that one. This one. I would say get it. I mean, wait till I get my other one to be sure. But this one's got good lockout. The grind's really nice. But yeah, it's a cool clone.